Hey, 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 looks like we have some new challengers returning back to the meta. Make sure you guys smash the crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on more awesome content. Let's talk about Magis Spectres over here. So, Unicorn has returned back to 1. You know what that means? Oh my gosh, Unicorn, oh my god, I can't believe Konami brought this card back. You know, this is, yeah, it's a free bounce once per turn, and it includes a nice little line of text on it that says, this card cannot be targeted by your opponent's card. You know, all the Magis Spectre cards include that fantastic line of text on it, but here's my thing with all of this. Magis Spectres as a whole, I mean, pre this ban list, they were doing a little bit. This was all without Unicorn, but by doing a little bit, I mean, they're going through some locals, they're getting first place finishes. It's not like it's a deck that is doing incredibly horribly. But you add Magis Spectre Unicorn back into this equation, well, congratulations. You know, you get to watch Magis Spectre stuff kind of take back off out here as players kind of explore these different options and make it rogue again. You know, yeah, sure, we don't have Electromite. You know, we do have Beyond the Pendulum. You can still Secret Village lock, contrary to what you might, you know, believe. Being able to have access to Secret Village in a deck like this is actually a pretty incredibly broken thing. And somebody's going to be like, oh, I forgot you could Secret Village. Well, yeah, I know. A lot of people tend to forget that Secret Village is typically involved in the Magis Spectre deck as one of those soft locking cards to ensure that, you know, your opponent can't really do anything, especially as you know we're heading on in to post new format where Snake Eyes is probably going to be, you know, your best deck. You definitely need to sit down out here and consider some of the value that is sitting here at the Magis Spectre table for the rogue category. And I think Kieran will be a very solid push for this. But once again, results will have to come and tell. We'll have to wait and see. It's just kind of what we're thinking so far. And then, of course, I got to talk about Sky Striker over here. Whew, wow. We got Chicken Game back to 1. Engage moved back to 3. That's a lot to kind of sink in here and really consider. The fact that, you know, the Spell Turbo deck just got all of this extra gas to be able to turbo through all of this additional stuff. Plus, we still have Tack Talents, Thrust. You know, you have, honestly, this deck just still dies to Droll. I think it's my major concerning point here is, you know, Droll is still a card that exists. Nothing has changed out there. Shifter is still a card that still exists at 3, by the way. You still have these very strong lingering floodgate condition cards that look to basically punish the meta. And I think Sky Striker, while it looks incredibly strong on paper, I think you have a good rogue category deck for sure. I think if you're planning on playing, well, a 9, 10, 11 round event, I guess Striker's just going to have to come down to, can we break a Snake Eyes board with the amount of Widow Anchors while trying to play around a Promethean Princess in the graveyard? You know, are we going to be able, do we have enough going second cards to allow our deck the chance to manipulate what exists over there so that we can play the game? Sky Striker going first right now does not inherently feel very good at all. I think you have to kind of rely on a going second package to kind of do so. Maybe we'll see the re-exploration of Evenly Matched with this deck. I'm not really too sure about that. Evenly has definitely phased out a lot more in the recent time, but Sky Striker is definitely in a much better position than a lot of the other rogue stuff here, except for, I think, Magis Spectre. Honestly, both of these decks, we're still missing the last little bit of Sky Striker support. I think we get it right before Nat, so we'll wait and see what it does then. Orest, oh man. The people that are excited for triple Heart Pour. My only concern is I think it's too late at this point. You know, we already saw one Heart Pour could barely do anything. You add a couple more into the equation to up consistency. I don't foresee this deck being able to handle the rest of the meta challenges that are kind of sitting here at the table. You know what I mean? I'm sure you can play this in the remnants of tier and try to create, you know, a hodgepodge pile deck. That's 100% doable. I have zero doubts about that in my mind. My major concerns are, how you got an extra Armageddon night, I guess, that you can dedicate to the dumping of this. But I don't know. I feel like this is just in a format where Fire is just able to build this board, and you're looking at like Orest combo in the way it plays. It is so 2019. No pun intended, because it's from the era it's from. But looking at how the deck is in its consistency, I don't foresee this making the splash that the other two have had. And that's really sad, actually, because it took 4 years of power creep to kind of push Orest down to the point that it is. And I was going to say, maybe you can try the Runic version of this deck now, but the problem is there are at least 3 to 4 other better versions of Runic that I could think of, maybe 4 or 5 actually, that I would rather play over the Orest variant. So I guess good luck if you're trying out the variants, the consistency. You have more tools available to you than you ever did before. I mean, that's technically a good thing, but we'll have to wait and see, honestly. It's poor Orest players. You were so close. If this had come back to 3 last format, I think you would have had a good shot before Fire. Next up is Hero. Oh, man. Hero players and the malicious. Oh, man. You know how many people right now are going to be super excited just to actually see and go, yeah, malicious is back. I'm a Hero main, all right? My deck is 100% more consistent. It's like, yeah. Good job. Malicious also makes the insane pile decks that, turboed through, and you wanted to use Malicious's link climbing better, even though Borolizovich and that's gone. But that's a story for another day over here for the piles. But Malicious moving back, I'm kind of curious to know what we'll be able to do with this. Because the Hero End board I don't think the Hero End board changes, at all. Because you would already use Denier to talk back a Malicious anyway and be able to do things. And by having one more Malicious in your deck, you did add more bricks into the Hero deck. I think it's one of my favorite things. It's like, oh yeah, we got Hero upgrades. Yeah, we finally have Malicious back to 3, and it's like, I can't wait for the Hero player to tell me that he opened up double Malicious and he's just having the absolute worst dueling experience. But I mean, it's not like you can't pitch the Malicious and be able to combo extend out that way. And there's plenty of ways to do it. It's just, I don't know. I guess we'll have to wait and see. Once again, though, I believe you can play the Wake Up Your Elemental Hero, play around Nibiru. I do think with Nibiru kind of coming back into the format, Heroes are going to have to find a way to deal with it, so probably crossouts being shifted on into the main deck. That would be probably one of the biggest things that I would see, because I almost guarantee you Nib is going to be running around at 100% full power right now, because it is just, with Fire King Snake Eyes doing its thing, why would you not want to play the little Space Rock, kind of clean things up? And then there's Sword Soul. So the reason why Sword Soul's vibing down here in the rogue category is Protos is back. That's right, everybody. One stupid card is enough to put Sword Soul back into consideration out here, as they can Rhoda for it. That's right, you heard me say that correctly. Sword Soul deck can Rhoda for Protos. I cannot wait for that to be an actual problem out here. My biggest concerns with consideration for Protos being this card returning back to the metas, I don't think it saves Sword Soul. I think that it's really cool that, we have another lingering floodgate condition monster in the game that, will cause inconveniences for the opponent. Yeah, sure, there's no doubt in my mind about that. But the biggest things that you gotta think about right now are, okay, what are we supposed to do with the rest of the Sword Soul deck? Because, I mean, you end on what? Well, you can't end on Baron anymore, so it's what, Chizao, the level 10, and, Hope. The Baron hit really did hurt Sword Soul. If you thought, you're like, we can end on Baron, no, you can't. You lost your blanket negate. It's, that's a rough hit for Sword Soul. I don't even think this deck, I don't know how you have to make a super vanilla board now without that. That's rough. But people are going to try, so we'll have to wait and see. But hey, I can't wait to see Sword Soul Emergence toggle to try to find Protos randomly. Okay. What do you guys think? Please leave a comment down below. Tell me what you guys think, and I'll see your beautiful faces back here in the day, guys. Peace out. Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.